already ready for this. Look at how you are. You're just sitting, you're wrapped up, and you're ready. Right. This is what happens when I do this in my kindergarten. All the children are just sitting there ready for the story. Okay, here we go. Title is Corduroy. Let's see what it's about. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a great big store. Day after day he waited with all the other animals. Nobody came to take him home. Wanted someone to take him home. Just kept waiting and waiting and waiting. The store was always filled with shoppers, and they were buying all kinds of things, but nobody ever wanted a little small bear in green overalls. Then one morning, a little girl named Lisa came. She looked straight in Corduroy's eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said, "look, oh, there's the bear I always wanted." "Oh, not today, dear," the mother sighed. Big sigh. "I've spent too much money already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He lost the button to one of his shoulder straps. It's missing." Corduroy watched them really sadly walking away. "I didn't know I lost a button," he said. "I'm going to go tonight, and I'm going to go and look for my button. I think I should be able to find it." Late that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and the doors were locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down the shelf, and he began searching everywhere for his button. Where was his lost button? Oh no! Suddenly he felt the floor moving under him. Quite by accident, he had stepped on an escalator. An escalator. Up it went. Up, up, up. Oh, could this be a mountain, he said. I've always wanted to climb a mountain. He stepped off the escalator and came to the next floor. Right there before his eyes, oh my gosh, the most amazing sight of all. Tables and chairs and sofas and rows and rows and rows of beds. Oh no, this must be a palace, he said. I've always wanted to live in a palace. He wandered around, admiring and liking all that furniture. This must be a bed, he said. I've always wanted to sleep in a bed. He climbed up onto the thick mattress, really thick. All at once he saw something small and round. "Oh, that's my button," he said. And he tried to pick it up, and he pulled, and he pulled, and he pulled. But it was tied down to the mattress because it wasn't his button. He yanked, and he pulled with all his paws, both of his paws. Pull, pull, pull till pop. P-O-P, pop. Off came the button that wasn't really his. And off the mattress, Corduroy toppled into a great big tall floor lamp. A big crash sound. Corduroy, he didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store, the night watchman. He was going around doing his rounds, looking to make sure everything was okay. He heard that big crash. I better come dashing down that elevator and see what that noise is. Now, who in the world did that, he said. Somebody must be hiding around here. I wonder who it is. He flashed his light under, over, under the beds, over the beds, until he came to the biggest bed of all. And there he saw two fuzzy brown ears sticking up from under the cover. Two little brown fuzzy ears. Hello, he said. How did you get upstairs? The watchman tucked Corduroy underneath his arm and carried him back down the elevator, the escalator. And he put him right back on the shelf with all the other animals and dolls. Corduroy was just waking up in the morning when the first customers came into the store, and oh my gosh, looking at him with a wide, warm smile was the same little girl he had seen the day before. I'm Lisa, she said, and you're going to be my very own special bear. I counted all my money that I saved up in my piggy bank, and I have enough to buy you and bring you home with me. Shall I put him in a box for you? Said the sales lady. Oh, no thank you. No thank you, said Lisa. And she carried Corduroy home in her arms. She ran all the way up the stairs into her family's apartment and straight into her own room. Corduroy blinked. There was a chair and a chest of drawers, and oh, right next to the little girl's bed was a perfect-sized bed for Corduroy and a nice little chest of drawers, just the right size for him. Not like that enormous palace, just perfect for Corduroy. Oh, this must be home, he said. I've always wanted a home. Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap, and she began to sew a button on his shoulder strap. I like you just the way you are, said Lisa. I think you'll be more comfortable if I sew a button on your overalls. You must be a friend, said Corduroy. Oh, I've always wanted a friend. Me too, said Lisa. And she gave him a hug. And they lived happily ever after. And you know what? This book is going to go home with you in a special bag. And you're going to take your reading quilts home, and I'm going to fold them up, put them in the bag. But you know what? When you go home, Mommy's not going to know, or the grown-up in your house is not going to know what this is that you're taking home. So Mrs. Shifman and Maya helped write a special note. Maya, where is that special note?
Right here.
Because when you bring things home, the parents say, goodness sakes, what is that? What are you bringing home? So we have a special note, and I'm going to read you the note. It says, Dear parents, it's time for reading. Your child has been given a handmade, because the ladies, my friends in this church, all made these by hand. You've been given a handmade reading quilt. Now Mom's going to say, or Dad, or Auntie, or Grandma. Someone's going to say, well, it looks like a blanket. And you can say yes, but Mrs. Shifman said it's a magic reading quilt. So that makes it even more special. And it's going to go home and you're going to wrap up in it as they read you a book, or while you are reading a book too. This is a good incentive. An incentive means a good way to read. It's going to make your family want to read to you. It's going to make you want to read books, and everybody is going to be very happy. These reading quilts are going with you until you go to college. And when I was teaching, all my children, most of my kindergartners, took these when they went away to college. And they called me on the telephone and they said, Mrs. Shifman, I took my reading quilt to college. I put it right on my bed. And when I go to all my classes, I come back and I look at my reading quilt and think, oh, I'm such a good reader. I got into college because I had my magic reading quilts and I got to read every day when I was growing up. So that's what you do when you go home. And sometimes you might want to look at your reading quilt and say, please read me a story. And your family, a grown-up, will sit down with you and read you a story. But you always need to wrap up in the magic reading quilt because it makes the story so much better. And in case you want to write your name here or draw a picture so that this will go home. It's going to go home, let's see here, inside your book so we don't lose it. So you'll take it home today with your special note, and maybe your teachers will want to let you write your name or draw a picture on the bottom so it can go inside your book with your magic reading quilt. And Mrs. Shifman found special containers so that when we fold them and wrap them up and put it in here, it's supposed to rain today or snow. So when you take it home today, it won't get wet, okay? So we're gonna fold your reading quilts. We're gonna put them in this bag. But first, I brought, well, I think I did, but it's with the microphone in this. I brought magic markers because I need to write your names on each of this book. So it's your very own book when you go home. And you can keep this book at home. And maybe I'll come back in a few weeks and I have another book to read to you too, if your teacher will let me. But your reading quilt is going to stay at home. You never have to bring it back here, okay? That's going to stay home till you go to college. And pretty soon, maybe I'll give you my phone number, and after you go to college, you can call me and tell me you took it there, okay? Just like all my other little kindergartners.